I wish I could say I did this on purpose, because those of you that are in the Angler Discord are probably aware there was a little bit of a teaser dropped earlier this morning. I didn't even see that until a couple of minutes ago. There's a potential map teaser, and they named it, or I think gave away the name that's going to be Aguas Claras, which I think is just clear waters. In theory, potentially Spain. A lot of people are saying Brazil, somewhere like that. So go figure, we're on Cuatro today. Angelic, thank you for the 3 months, by the way. Welcome back. I will, if I can get this set up quickly, show you guys that little teaser. Just gonna take a minute to do that. Like I said, I did not know this was a thing until very, very recently. So if we just save this as, gotta name it a bunch of ones, we can do that. And we'll be on our way. I don't think there's any red deer drinking down here. It is red deer drink time, so we will just kind of swing up towards this lake, and we'll get that done. What's going on, Danny? Bottom Boy's in here, Mel's in here. I saw you said you voted for both. I was kind of feeling, I think I have POI icons off. I was kind of feeling fishing and hunting today, but at the same time, no, they are on. There we go. Anyway, at the same time, I am looking forward to 2 hours of Cuatro. I brought the takedown recurve. I also have the e-collar. And to be honest, when hunting like that, it's going to be a little slower paced. I think having the full 2 hours is going to be nice. Anyway, see if I can get this set up. Mel, thank you for the 26 months, by the way. That is many months. Welcome back. We'll do... God, I'm rusty at this. Image. Okay. Getting there. It should be... that. Okay. So, it doesn't tell us a lot in terms of what, type of water we may be looking at. I could see this being Brazil, based on the lay of the land. Funny enough, it is very similar to Cuatro Colinas. And am I insane for saying that looks better graphically than the 2 maps we already have? Because I think it looks really, really good. So we'll see what that's all about. Hopefully, maybe tomorrow I'll do a quick little, maybe we'll do the angler... I don't know, we'll see. I kind of have a really cool classic video that's supposed to come out tomorrow. We'll see what happens. Either way, we will talk about that fairly soon. Fall break has allowed me to pop into the stream. What's going on? Glad you can make it in. Hopefully this will be a good one. I do have to say, our last couple of hunts, the classic video that I won't spoil, although you can look at my gallery in classic if you guys want to know what I'm talking about, and then the rare raccoon dog. Our last couple of hunts have really been producing. See if we can continue that today. It would be really great if I could learn how to shoot a gun. Oh, right between the branches. Nice. Abracadabra, what's up, K-Flow? Did I miss anything? That shot at the pheasant was literally our first kill today. I don't get the allure of hot air balloons in terms of, like, actually, hitching a ride in a hot air balloon. Not something I would want to do. I feel like that's... maybe I'm wrong, but would it not be extremely loud whenever they got the flame and stuff going? You're a different one. A huge male as well. 8 to 11. Oh, I thought he was going to go up a little sooner. 2 for 2. I'm trying to get some pheasant here lately. I can't seem to get any in the field. Then once I get in my car and drive away, one runs across the road in front of me every time. That sounds like, it kind of sounds like the deer hunting I've been doing lately. Just strugs. I know what you meant, Soup, but I'm sure you worded it that way on purpose. It'd be cool to fish and hunt at the same time, the hunting angler. So that's a video that I want to do. And essentially the way that I would go about it is, I think the easiest 2 maps would be Silver Ridge Peaks and Golden Ridge Reserve. We'd start in the hunter, hunt around, maybe go to a lake, and then kind of transition to fishing in said lake. Or, well, transition to fishing in a lake that looks similar in the angler. It would be tough to edit together, and that's why I haven't done it just yet, because hunting season strugs, I can only get so many things done to begin with. What am I doing? Oh, that worked. But we could have used the 44 for that. Sounds like a flamethrower? That's exactly what I'm thinking of. I know what I was thinking. Our internet strugs have been real lately, so our bitrate is lower than it needs to be. Should make things just a little bit more clear. Only got the good stuff in West Virginia, huh? Still not a mod in here? Imagine being that bad. How do I keep the same loadout every time I change maps? Every time I change maps, it always puts my loadout to loadout 3. Really? I don't think it's supposed to work like that. It should save whatever loadout you last had active. That's what it does for me. Still level to 44? Very much so. So part of my thinking with Cuatro was Ibex, 4 different species of Ibex, obviously, red deer, roe deer, wild boar, wolves. There's so much potential to use the heck out of this thing today. But I brought the recurve and the e-collar just for some change of pace hunting. On the bus from a long day of school, great to see your streams. Glad you can make it in, man. Hopefully it'll make the bus ride a little quicker. Try to get a buck. Are we talking about in the real lives or in the game? I think I can do it in game. Not sure about real life yet. I'm finding ways to not kill deer. New gun insanely buffed. How long before they nerf? I don't think there's a reason to nerf it, to be 100% honest with you. Like, we have the 308 AR. Other guns kind of like that arguably were, you know, to use the phrase OP compared to anything else in the game, and they didn't get nerfed. There have been occasional nerfs, but really they don't tend to do that very often. If anything, they'll make things better. The 22H when it came out was basically useless, so they made it a little bit more powerful. Is Dark Harlequin rare? I don't think so. That's one of those tough ones because they get, like, the dark brown raccoon dog that we shot in yesterday's video. Weird things like that are rare that you'd never think are. Dream hunt in real life, caribou in Alaska. We need some guide videos for Way the Hunter. Content's a bit dry for Way the Hunter. I do want to make a video talking about, like, genetics and calling herds, because I feel like, and I probably don't do the best job of phrasing it in the non-guide videos, just when we're regularly hunting. I feel like there's a little bit of a misunderstanding with how that kind of works. Because I see it all the time in my Discord, like, should I shoot a 3-star mature, insert name of animal? And the answer is, it entirely depends on what the rest of your herds look like. If it's the only 3-star mature and you've seen nothing but 1s and 2s, you absolutely leave it. If it's a 3-star mature and a herd that's producing 4s and 5s, you probably kill it. Stuff like that I think is just kind of not well covered. It's just, it will take a long time for me to properly explain all that. About to lose service, going to check Foxcam? Sounds good. See you later, Crocodile. Great work. Okay, I don't know where all the red deer are on this map. Sure would be nice if we could find one. And like, all my tents down here around this mountain just disappeared. When do you think the hints for the new map will start happening in the community? Is getting that time of year already? Let me think. It's usually like around the first week of rifle season that we get early access. Last year I think it was into December. But typically it's late November. Yeah, I don't know, in the next couple of weeks. What do you think the Way the Hunter next map will be? Yeah, so they have confirmed that they intend to do 2 more maps in the next, well, next year. Not in the next year necessarily. Where would make sense? Let's actually look at the world map. So, if we're talking about Way the Hunter, we have Africa. We have... where the heck's Alaska at? Oh god, I'm stupid. We have Alaska. We have Nez Perce. And we have Transylvania, which is somewhere over there. Don't worry about my geography. Something like Australia or New Zealand would make a lot of sense. They don't have a map with snow. That's gonna be my bet. I think we get Greenland. Or something Arctic-ish. Fantasy football may be my secret talent. Dude, I lost all fantasy football abilities this year. I am getting killed every week. It's so bad. Do you bow or gun hunt? Assuming we're talking about real life? Both. Whatever season it is, I'm probably using that weapon. I would say I'm a deer hunter more than like a gun or bow hunter, if that makes sense. Just eat the ibex? At this rate, we're gonna have to eat whatever we find. Might have to be some mushrooms or something. I don't know where all the animals are. But what about Call of the Wild? What about Call of the Wild? Have a giant mellow fox squirrel on my trail cam? Out of curiosity, and don't give me like, you know, your longitude and latitude, where roughly are you located? Because the reason I'm asking, probably like 2.5 hours north of here, there's an area of Pennsylvania, and I believe some in New York, that has, I think they're gray squirrels, but a strain of melanistic squirrels that are usually just referred to as black squirrels. It's a to say they're melanistic would make it sound like it's rare, but most of them are. And it's really cool. I've never shot one, but I want to. Hypothetically, they could make two of the exact same map, one in the angler and one in the hunter. Wouldn't be as cool as fishing and hunting at the same time, but the overlapping map could be cool. I mean, I wouldn't complain if they did that. I think some people would. But, yeah, is there much of a downside to that? I think the biggest downside would be a lot of complaints like, why didn't you just put fishing in the Hunter Call of the Wild? My guess we're getting the Arctic map in Call of the Wild? I mean, I've been wanting Greenland and Muskox between the two games, Call of the Wild and Way the Hunter. I do think Call of the Wild would do Muskox better. Loads of black squirrels in the UK? Okay, I didn't know that. Hey, what's up, Shio? Something like Medved but better? I would take that. Killed a max weight warthog yesterday. Very nice. Something about max weight warthog, I don't remember exactly what the scenario was, but back in the good old days of Zag Tactics, we had a max weight warthog track. So essentially, picked up the track, said 150 kg. That was the way that the Zag Tactics worked with the tracks. I can't remember why we couldn't find it. And this is in the days of the old scoring system, potentially could have scored 1,000, things like that. And I've always wanted one ever since because we didn't kill that one. Lots of diamond warthogs have been shot since then. We've never had a max weight. I don't know why, I just find them really cool, and it might be that, like, what is it? You covet what you don't have or whatever? The hot air balloon thing, I caught that as well, Bottom Boy. It made me wonder if maybe there's some sort of asset sharing. It's a different engine, though, I think. So I'm not sure if that actually can happen. I don't know how game development works. You have to come to Finland IRL sometime? I'll tell you what, I've seen the hunts TK does in Finland. Some of the whitetail, I would actually... Ooh, okay. Heart shot, I guess. I would actually enjoy a whitetail hunt over there. Saw him numerous times last year when I had the 22 with me. He's nowhere to be seen. That sounds about right. There's an innate sense with squirrels. I truly believe this, and I know it's been studied with crows. Crows actually have some understanding of, like, intent, I guess. Because they'll kind of hang around somebody who doesn't have a gun and let them get plenty close. Someone who does have a gun, they fly away from much further, and even to the degree of, like, disguising the gun as other things. These sorts of tests have been done. The crows recognize that. I seriously think squirrels have that too. Because the amount of squirrels that I've walked to within 10 feet of when I'm not squirrel hunting is dumb. But if I'm squirrel hunting, you can bet those things are going to run away from 75 yards. Every time. Got a gold albino warthog in Barunga. There you go. Thought it was the same engine? I could be wrong. I don't know if anybody can confirm that, but I'm just assuming based on the graphical differences, they must have a different engine. Wish birds could land on trees in Call of the Wild? If they could do that, like turkeys roosting at night, which maybe they should become almost like ducks and geese that aren't broken from the flocks yet. You shouldn't be able to shoot them. Grouse, ptarmigan, there's a lot they could do with birds landing in trees. I wish they could. You think we should get a rifle in 375 in Call of the Wild for either 7 to 9 or 8 to 9? I actually want a rifle or multiple rifles that are classes 8 to 9. I just think that would be cool. 375 H&H fits that. 416 Savannah fits that. You could feasibly do like a 340 Weatherby in that class range. I think it'd be cool. Are you surprised the Browns won? Yes and no. So like before the game, in my NFL picks channel, I picked the 49ers to win. I think I said easily. And not only that, I think the Niners were favored by 9.5. This is like Thursday or Friday. I went ahead and bet on the 49ers to cover that spread. I just felt like, you know, they've been outplaying everybody so bad. I found out, Bottom Boy told me, literally like right after I sent on the screenshot, like, hey, I just bet $25 on the 49ers to cover the spread. There was a stat that Kyle Shanahan's like 1-7 or 1-8. I forget if he's now 1-8 or if he was already 1-8 against Jim Schwartz defenses. So I started to wonder, but then it's like, okay, their starting PJ Walker is going to be fine. I'm a big fan of PJ Walker though, like legit, he's not the greatest quarterback to ever play, but he's a gamer. Like, you throw him in there, he's not too bad. Like, I enjoy watching him play. So, did I think that the Browns were going to end up winning? No. But as soon as, like, when Bottom Boy told me that stat, and as soon as I kind of got to thinking about things not too long after I placed that bet, I was like, oh man, this is going to be close. And of course, they still should have won. Jake Moody missed what is, frankly, in the NFL now, basically a chip shot field goal. If you're inside of 45 yards, it's what, 95%? 90% league-wide? So, you know, 49ers still almost pulled it off, but the Browns' defense is so good. Like, insanely good. Confused how their kicker choked that hard? I mean, I guess because he's a rookie. He missed 2 kicks that game. He missed one early. The Browns kicker missed one. The weather wasn't good. That's not great, but he didn't slip or anything. Hello from Tamworth, Australia. Did I say that right? Hope I did. What are the rares in this game that you don't have yet that you really want? Albino red fox is one. I have half a dozen piebald foxes and at least 3 melanistic foxes. Never killed an albino. What else? Hello there. I've never killed a leucistic male Cape Buffalo. I've got like 3 female leucistics. So that would be another one because I think they look really cool. And then I guess maybe another albino lion. I have several. Or specifically an albino male lion that's a gold. They do look amazing as well. No more undefeated teams. Yeah, the Jets beating the Eagles was pretty absurd as well. I didn't get to watch almost any of that game. I think I had it on before I left. I had to go pick up Kyler from the airport last night. So I listened to that game on the way there. And, like, obviously the Jets' defense is really good. Their offense was moving the ball. Like, yeah, they couldn't score in the red zone, but the Eagles' defense is also good. I'm wondering about the Jets. Are they going to somehow make a push here? Aaron Rodgers is throwing on the field before the game already, even though he's 12 seconds after his Achilles tear. It's interesting. I'm more surprised about them than maybe any other team at the moment. If you don't hit anything good with the 44, it is almost underwhelming. Did you see the teaser for the angler? I did indeed. Talked about it a little bit earlier. Aguas Claras, I think, was the name that they gave. I'm assuming that's the name of the reserve. Got the Jets defense on my fantasy team. So happy they got 3 interceptions. They almost had a pick 6 too. That third one almost went the distance. It wasn't just 3 interceptions. There was at least 1 fumble recovery, maybe 2. Have you shot a diamond magpie goose in Australia? Yes. The way it was really dumb, actually. So I think the way it went down is we spotted a legendary croc who then like dove under the water and we had to wait for him to come back. While waiting for him, a level 5 magpie goose flew overhead. So I set up for that. Called in what turned out to be a different level 5 magpie goose. Killed that one, got the diamond. It was a 3.9 something, a pretty good one. And then eventually ended up getting the croc, which was a troll. The actual level 5 magpie that we saw, because it had a different estimate, we found that out later, also turned out to be a troll. So the mere fact that we got the diamond one was absurdly stupid. What map we're getting in the angler? So they literally, I think only in their Discord. I didn't see anything on social media. Maybe I missed it. They posted this today. I'll give you the exact quote. Fancy a balloon ride over Aguas Claras, question mark? There's this game news tag. I think that's all. There's no link or anything. It's just that. Just watched that video yesterday. Well, I appreciate it. Can you fish from those balloons? That should be a thing. Browns need a more reliable offense. In my opinion, they can't put every game on the back of the defense. I don't know if I'm crazy, and I think this is often a thing when backup quarterbacks are playing. I've actually heard this theory before, too. But when you have a backup in for, like, a star quarterback, and whether it's Deshaun Watson, whether it's Patrick Mahomes, whether it's Josh Allen, I think play callers sometimes will just put too much on, like, calling an average play and letting the quarterback figure it out. Then when they have their backup in, they call some more creative, like, well-designed plays. And that backup will end up doing really well. It's an intriguing dynamic, but I thought their play calling was much better with PJ Walker under center than Deshaun. That's Australia? It's Aguas Claras, though. That's like Spanish. Or potentially Puerto Rican. Yeah, I don't know why they did that, Bottom Boy. I don't know if they're maybe trying to hide something. I don't get... There's a little water, I think. There's a stream running through back there. Or a river. Depends on their perspective. Logan, thank you for the 2 months of being a Shusty. Welcome back, man. Can you revisit the Hunter Primal? Maybe eventually. I don't know what I would do in it. Because I kind of like... Eventually we ended up getting one of every possible thing. We killed all the dinosaurs in the game. We got all the rares. We got the Primal Queen Rex. Maybe multiplayer or something like that we could eventually do. Portuguese, I think you meant to say? I did, yeah. Sorry, I'm dumb. Resembles Cuatro Colinas? It very much does, but I could see it being Brazil as well. What's up, Jackson? Look at those emotes. Are there any species you personally want to see added? I know there's a few from Classic, Doll Sheep, Stone Sheep, those big curved horn Ibex. Yeah, Alpine Ibex and Doll Sheep are my two like biggest ones. They don't have Stone Sheep in Classic, and I don't know why. I actually think it's a throwback to Cabela's Big Game Hunter 2004? One of the first throwback games we ever did on this channel. Was also one of my first hunting games ever going back to when I was like 6 years old. There were Stone Sheep in that game, and I guess I just enjoyed hunting them. And I've always kind of wanted them in one of these modern games, and I don't know that any have added them. In Way the Hunter, are caribou everywhere on the map? More or less, yeah. There's none in the southeast, like the rainforest area. Otherwise, just about everywhere. Killed my first super rare, an albino bighorn sheep. Nice, I can see it in your profile pic. What's up, Joe? The weekend was hit or miss, I guess you could say, quite literally. The Steelers didn't play, so the good news is I didn't lose any years off my life watching them play. There was that. Which, I don't know if you watched the Patriots game. From what I saw, you may have lost years off your life, because good lord. But I didn't talk about this yet in the stream. Saturday night, I did get a shot at a doe with the inline, and just completely... I ended up hitting the thing, I think, too far forward. I think there's a slight chance that it was a lethal hit, but if it was, it ended up running pretty far. The rain washed all the blood away. But realistically, where it went and where we had blood trailed it to, we went back the next morning and looked. And it just... There's no sign of it anywhere. I kind of wonder if maybe I didn't do enough damage to the lungs, or maybe I did shoot just in front of the lungs. The biggest thing was, though, I was very bummed about that. Obviously, you never want to especially hit a deer and not find it. But then, when my brother and I went down in there and looked, he actually... So I'm walking along looking. I'll just tell you the story from my perspective. I'm walking along looking, and I start to angle over towards the direction my brother had gone, because there was nothing... Just based on the way the ravines and stuff were, if this deer were mortally wounded, it's not climbing back up over the other side. So I start going in his direction, and I can see he's walking with his phone up. I'm like, oh my god, he found it. And I see him, like, turn towards me, and he says, I found it. And I was like, oh, no way. And he goes, wait a minute. This is a buck. It's basically the one buck Kylo wanted to shoot. We found it dead. I don't know why. Like, its hips were, like, visible. Its shoulder was visible. It looked very emaciated. So that kind of bummed me out. It's one of, like, it's not a buck I would have shot. It's a decent buck. Probably 9,500 inch 7-point. But it's just one of our favorites. We've been seeing him for a long time. So I have no idea why he ended up dying there. I feel like Bill Belichick isn't really good without Tom Brady. Like, I don't know. Hello. I guess that's a relic from the Red Deer grind? I can't tell if that's Big Rack or not. We'll scoot in there and see. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, the Belichick thing. If you look at the first 3 Super Bowls, a lot of that is Belichick's defense. So I don't know if it's more so that Belichick can't keep up with the game as it is now. Like, there's no denying Brady at the end of their run was the main reason they were winning. But Belichick had the main reason at the beginning of the run, so I don't know. Killed my first buck last night. Nice. If you're in the Discord, make sure to post it. I'd love to see it. You know what we should do? We should call this in, and he does have the double brow, so that's the Big Rack. We should call this in with the E-collar and try to get it with the takedown recurve. The only problem, potentially, is the wind. You know what I think the solution is, though? The wind, we want to basically be facing like this. Maybe not. I was going to say we could fast travel there. That doesn't really help anything. We might be okay. Let's see. They were a great duo. I think that's honestly the correct, like, takeaway from the whole dynasty. But instead, you know, I mean, it's just sports media that does it because they need something to talk about. They want to give all the credit to one or the other. Like, they won 6 Super Bowls, in my opinion. One was largely responsible for 3. The other was largely responsible for 3. And that's fine. It's allowed to be that way. Take the red deer with the bow. We are definitely going to try. You know, who warning called? Yeah, he kind of knows we're here. I'm glad that he didn't run. To the point, I can't even watch them lately. I watched Red Zone yesterday instead of keeping up with fantasy. They're just so bad now. So I didn't get to watch the entire game. I saw... Was it Jabril Peppers absolutely lit up Devontae Adams, sent the ball flying. They had, I guess, an interception, maybe a fumble recovery. Not sure what they called that play. That was 3-0. The Raiders eventually made it 10-0 or 10-3. But it was 17-17, right? And Mac Jones took that safety, which I know he had just thrown a perfect ball that was dropped the play before. But I thought, like, I saw the safety happen, and I thought, okay, they were losing, they had to make a play. He has to get rid of that ball. If it's tied, what's going on? You know it, Soup. I look as closely as possible. Internet struggling? I think that's my end, actually. We dropped a couple of frames there. But I think we're back. It was 1917, then they gave up the safety? Oh. Was it? I thought the game ended 1917. Hold up. Raiders. Patriots. Oh, I didn't. Okay. Yeah, never mind. All right. Not as much Mac Jones' fault as I thought. The O-line is awful. Yeah, they seem pretty bad. Speaking of awful, this wind. Now, what I think might just work. If we get in this tripod, he's going to have to come along this way. I think we get a shot. It's just a matter of, does he just run into the water and get stuck? Because sometimes animals do that. Not a football guy. I'm tried to get into it a few times, but I'm a hockey guy. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Can you get a brain shot on a wolf with the 1894 through the back? Like through the back of the head? I would assume, but maybe if one shows up, we'll try it. No Steelers playing this weekend was kind of nice. I have every intention to, when I make my football picks this week on that channel, start by saying something to the effect of, like, if I sound more youthful, it's because the Steelers didn't take any years off my life playing this weekend. Because they can't help but make every game a nail-biter. That or they get killed, which also takes years off my life. I don't think it has any spook radius, bottom boy. I want to say it's the same as placing like a turkey decoy. What's sad was the Buccaneers, they've been so off and on, it's rough. I just think the Lions' defense is better than anybody gives them credit for, because they were so bad last year. They do look good. That new... Is this the dark brown variant, I believe? But I think they're kind of stuck on the water. Maybe they'll figure it out. We're going to give them a couple of minutes. No reason the teams have buys so early in the season. Honestly, I think it's TV stuff. Realistically, it should be weeks like what? Say 7 to 10? 7 to 11? That's awesome, David. If we go and set up right here, the wind is going to be so bad it's completely pointless. So we kind of have to wait and see if he works his way over here. If he doesn't, and he's just warping around, what would be the solution? I guess I'm going to leave that playing. What if we start doing a little sneaking? If we do it just right, we can get to at least there with cover. But that's where the wind is going to start to be a problem. But at least the one thing that's going to happen here with the collar is going to hold them right there. Cowboys or Chargers? So here's my idea. I'm picking the Cowboys because I think Mike McCarthy feels that his job is, and I think he's felt this way from the moment he took the job, his job is in jeopardy, and they essentially fired Kellen Moore in favor of having Mike McCarthy call the plays. So McCarthy is going to feel compelled to prove to Jerry Jones that he should keep his job and that firing Kellen Moore was the right move. Therefore, I think they're going to come out with a good offensive performance, and the Chargers are going to Charger because they do that. That a purdy deer? What's going on, Shadestorm? It's awfully kind of you, David. Just sidestep and let the QB get smoked. Got a super troll roost a couple days ago. I've seen so many of those. It's such a bummer. The trolls for Emerald Coast are nuts. Is Tyreek Hill on pace to break the receiving yards record? If he's not, he's close. Oh. Last I saw, he's like 186 yards shy of 1,000. But let's say he gets to 1,000 through week 8. He's basically exactly on pace. So he's probably a little ahead of schedule right now. Do you do much grouse hunting? I don't think I've ever hunted grouse. I'd like to. Unique attack, I just saw that. Me, European, not getting any of this. I can't come up with a dumb description. I was going to say something stupid about, like, guy runs with football, but never mind. Think I saw he's on pace for 2.3K? Is he really? I guess if there's 17 games, that would be about right. You could try pulling out the normal red deer collar. I don't actually have space for it. The E-collar is so heavy. Oh boy. Okay. You don't see anything. You don't see anything. That was ridiculous. Why did he come in all of a sudden? I mean, it worked. But that whole time he was just stuck there and then finally decides to come over and hide behind the rock? Big smoked. We'll take it. I think since he has the split brows, he's the big rack, so he should be a guarantee. How far was that shot? 12.9 meters. That's a small rack. 253. So not a guarantee. However, he made it. So we will take that. And just fitting to shoot him at 12 meters with the recurve. Little high, which I guess was because he was only 12 away. That was pretty cool. Cuatro already making it worthwhile. Should we tax that? Is there a reason to tax that? Oh, what the heck. I didn't get her anything. We'll do something with it. Okay, I gotta go turn that off. Nice time and thank you. Are you doing fantasy football? If so, how's your team doing? I think I'm gonna be 2-4 after this week. And the 2 wins I have, I don't deserve. Yes, I'm gonna be 2-4. Let me tell you how fantasy football's going. I drafted Travis Kelce #1 overall. He missed week 1. Not #1 overall, sorry. My first round pick, I was 5th overall. My quarterback draft choice was Joe Burrow. Every report was saying he was fine. I don't think he's put up 15 points in a game this year yet. Derrick Henry has done okay. My receivers were Calvin Ridley, who has not performed as well as I thought. Mike Evans, who's doing decent. And who was the other one? Nico Collins, who I didn't draft. He's a free agent pickup. Needless to say, it's been rough out here. My other running back, Javonte Williams, I was sold. Like, look at Alvin Kamara in Sean Payton's offense. I was like, Javonte Williams is putting up 20 points a game. Yeah. How about, like, 7? It's been rough. Is there a reason to tax that? It's from the red deer grind, though. Not like we just, you know what I mean? Like, we just shot so many diamond red deer. Need to draft better like me? Clearly. What are you hunting now? I mean, we're just kind of hunting whatever shows up. I'm hoping at some stage some wolves come and attack us. We'll see. Traded Derrick Henry 2 weeks ago for A.J. Brown? I'm surprised someone made that trade. Tired of him not doing good? I mean, he put up 20 points this week. He's not like a start. He's weird. Like, you can't start him every week. There's some weeks where defenses just kind of do well against him. But he's also, like, let me see where he's ranked right now. He's running back 15. Which I can't remember exactly how the draft order worked out. But that was... I guess I could have gotten someone better than that. But even still, like... If any of your starters are top 15, you're not doing terribly bad. Or let me say, like, ideally all your starters are somewhere in that range, but that's never going to happen. He's definitely starting running back, like, in one of your 2 slots. It's just my compliment to him is not good. Are the 49ers still good? Meaning because they lost to the Browns, they're fine. Do you have pheasants where you live? Yes. Generally speaking, there are wild pheasants in Pennsylvania, though it kind of depends on where you're at. Some areas are much more populated than others. I want to say this was our... Was it our first winter here? Yeah, right after I ended up shooting my buck. The pheasant season here extends to like March. And sometime around March, I was just walking around the woods. Yeah, I don't know, what was it? Kyle and I, why do we have a ladder? I know what it was. I took down our tree stands, you know, brought them inside, oiled everything up, you know, tried to maintain things. And I left the bow hanger in the tree. So Kyla helped me carry the aluminum ladder out there. I climbed up, got the bow hanger. All good. We're carrying it back to the house, and a pheasant flies right over us. And I was like, what the heck? I haven't even seen one here. And for the next, like, 3 weeks, this thing was crowing every 15 minutes. What I think happened in that particular case was the local hunting club had stocked pheasants for a pheasant hunt, and that one survived. Because he's since disappeared. Is muzzleloader season in PA open yet? Opened on Saturday. What would you like to see as the next great one? I still think mule deer would be amazing, but if they want to stick with base game great ones, Roosevelt elk? Or blacktail? Take away the Dolphins and Jags, a lot of low-scoring games this weekend as well? True. Yeah, there weren't many fireworks this week. Blacktail great one's close enough? I mean, you've probably heard my theory by now on the whole bench leg thing. I found out if you jump on a rock, wolves can't get to you in Call the Wild? Really? What's up, Kermit? Mule deer hunt is this weekend. Hope I can bring home a trophy unlike someone I know. Would be nice if you could. Am I the someone? Am I bad? Great one, wild boar. If I'm not mistaken, it was after like the first great one, the whitetail came out. A lot of people were saying like, great one, Hogzilla, something like that would be awesome. Maybe we finally see it. What great one moose would you want? Somebody got, what's that actually called? Fabled spruce? A lot of people call it fabled ginger. But I think it was that with the big typical rack. It actually looked kind of awesome. I've always wanted fabled oak in the big typical rack, but that spruce with the typical looked quite good. Are you going to give us a shot there, sir? Ooh, maybe. Don't think we got it. I was looking to go like down through the back and into the lungs. No such luck. 3 piebald pheasants? Huh. I have to wonder if they're piebald if there's 3 of them. Like, could it be some other kind of weird, like potentially genetic thing where all of them would have it? It's a 175.2 water buffalo giant. It's pretty big. I don't think they get up to 180. I don't know what she's barking at. Just now got the notification for the poll you did for this stream. You know, I haven't checked it in a while, but hunting was winning so big on that poll that I'm assuming that one. She's scared of you? What is she barking at? I don't see anything. How big is a 275.5 whitetail? Pretty darn big. I think 276 is around as big as they get. I'm not sure that's gonna bring that guy down. Let's go... Well, I already know there's 2 mythical red deer up here because this is where I spawned when I was setting up the stream. Since everyone loved the bear grind, let's give him another predator great one, so be ready for yote or fox. God, can you imagine? Barking a ghost? Could be. Sounds like you got company. The thing is, I can see like the driveway and stuff. There's nobody here. I don't know what she's doing. Can we get both? We're almost gonna have to wait till one goes to drink, which hopefully one actually will, because they seem to just sort of be standing there. Listen, one of you guys has to do something. Or you don't, I guess. Okay, fine. So... top of the back? Maybe a little higher. Ah, he got out of there. Got that one. I knew we should have waited, but it didn't seem like they were going to drink. Underrated feature of Way the Hunter, the animals survived. Oh, the blood? Yeah, so you know immediately. That is kind of nice. Lawboy, thank you for the super chat and super sticker, by the way. I'm guessing that alert will play eventually, but it's slowly scrolling and I didn't want to miss it. I don't know what is going on down there, but it's not good. Is this the best map to grind red deer? Because I've been trying Emerald Coast. Tearoa would be the best map. Just because of like the way that huge amounts of red deer kind of group up in small areas. This map's good. This is where we did our red deer grind. Emerald Coast is also pretty good, but I think Tearoa is the undisputed champ there. Is Beagle pooping on the bridge? If I had a rock and a screen not in this window, I could throw something at the bridge from here. She hears something. You don't say. One has a completely white head, and the other two have white spots on their head with white patches on their bodies? Huh. That's interesting. Opinion on the new CJ Stroud Zelly? I must have missed that. That was actually the game... Did I finish it? I think I have a little bit left. That was the last game I was watching earlier today to kind of inform my Week 7 picks upcoming. What was your least favorite subject in school? So I liked math until algebra. So if we're talking like grade school, I can't go with math. Anything post-high school, algebra, calculus. Calc was the one that really got me. So assuming I'm allowed to go, you know, to specifics within mathematics calculus. What was your first diamond? It was a musk deer on Medved. The way that played out, it was, I think, October 30th of 2017, about 8 months after the game came out. There was still a pretty big lack of understanding about how diamonds actually worked at the time. And literally the day before, I had started to, like, I knew that diamonds were a thing, and I was starting to actively try to get a diamond. So, I found a level 5 moose up on the ice on Medved. I was like, okay, this is going to be it. I made the heart shot, dropped it in his tracks. I did not have the consecutive harvest bonus that you used to have to have back then. And therefore ended up being, I think, a gold, which the way that like now, if you mess up a diamond, it's a gold, right? Back then, basically, it had to be 970 or bigger, roughly, to still end up being a gold. So it was a nice size moose. The next day, I found a level 3 musk deer. Made the shot on that. I didn't do anything to do a con-check. Like, I could have screwed that one up as well by not having consecutive harvest. But that one, luckily, didn't lose the consecutive harvest bonus. Got the diamond. And then I think it took me 6 more months to get another one. 2017 is crazy. It kind of scares me when I start to say things out loud and be like, oh, that was years ago. I think I have a minimum score male boar. It has a score of 7. That is the minimum. Feral hogs, wild hogs, feral pigs, whatever the heck. same thing. And wild boar, they have the same minimum of 7, which is hilarious. Red deer, speaking of like the old scoring system stuff we were just talking about, red deer used to have a minimum score of 6, which was also hilarious. Smoked, question mark? Now we get to run. I'm just gonna fast travel to save that little bit of distance. How did consecutive harvest used to work? Gonna be honest with you, I don't know even to this day if I fully understand it or understood it. Essentially, you would start out, like in theory, you would start out at 0% consecutive harvest. And the way that it first worked was you needed 5 animals. So when you shot your first animal, your consecutive harvest bonus, well, it was 0, right? Once you shot your first one, your consecutive harvest bonus goes to 20. Second one 40, third one 60, fourth one 80, then finally your 5th harvest will be 100. So if you were to shoot something big, let's say, and you wanted to check your consecutive harvest, if you checked it and it said 80%, you were good, because the next one would be 100. They changed it to 3 animals, which I'm trying to figure out the math in my head. Was it wasn't like 30, 60, 100. I think it was 40, 80, 100 or something like that. Anyway, same basic idea. I just can't remember what the numbers were. The way that you would lose consecutive harvest bonus, and this is what would cost people. Basically, if you shot something and didn't claim it, but it didn't, like, it couldn't reset immediately. So I believe if you shot something, didn't claim it, and then fast traveled, shot something, didn't claim it, and then like changed the time, or shot something, didn't claim it, and then closed the game and started over again, that would reset you back to 0. Now, if you're hunting for 5 minutes and you find a diamond, pretty easy to solve that. Like, you know where your consecutive harvest is. If you're hunting for 4 hours, like, you probably forget maybe you shot something and didn't even mean to not claim it. That was where people got into trouble and lost consecutive harvest all the time. What's up, Sketchy King? Glad you can make it in, man. I only played on scoring 1.0 for like 2 months. There's things I miss about it. Like, I actually kind of think quick kill was a good thing. There was something to me that kind of made diamonds more special when it was like, okay, I have to make this hard shot or this isn't a diamond. Or I have to get double lung. Single lung's not going to work. Or this drops below diamond. The other one was, because we did this quite a bit, big animals like moose, one of the preferred options was actually the 454 and a quick follow-up shot over like trying to get spine when you could go for spine or heart. There were all kinds of like interesting methods. I mean, Cape Buffalo, crossbow to the spine again when spine shots were the thing. That was the way to kill a diamond Cape Buffalo. Almost nothing else was consistent. Lungs was not consistent in any way, shape, or form. Brain was tough because like when they're eating or drinking, they move their head a lot. There was some cool stuff about quick kill that I liked. And I want to say I was in favor of like them removing quick kill, but when I look back, it did make diamonds more special. Because now, and there's nothing wrong with it, but you know, if I want to shoot a diamond red deer with the 243, I can, and it's going to run for 500 yards. And it's still going to be a diamond, which is cool, on one hand. On the other hand, I liked the anticipation of, like, some of the ones that were close. Like, okay, if I shoot this elk 300 yards away with the 300, it's the only shot I can go for whatever reason it may be. I hope that's going to get enough quick kill. Those ones were just fun. Yeah, I think that's why they got rid of it. I think it was the learning curve. Because there were a lot of disappointed people all the time. I don't miss the spawn shots at all. Why promote unethical hunting? So that's where it gets kind of like confusing to me. Because quick kill obviously is promoting ethical hunting. I believe that was the entire idea behind both consecutive harvest and quick kill. Consecutive harvest was like, don't just shoot something and leave it to rot in the woods. Quick kill, you know, make a good ethical clean shot so it dies quickly. But then the spawn shots thing kind of ran counter to that. So removing spawn shots and then also removing quick kill, I feel like they only had to remove one or the other. But, you know, it is what it is. What's up, Cheesy? How was your day and what have I missed? Not gonna lie, in terms of like a hunting game day, it is pretty darn good. Killed a diamond red deer earlier on this stream, and then I was recording a classic video for tomorrow, and shot one of, I won't tell you the species, but I shot my biggest of something ever in the Hunter Classic. And not like my biggest Arctic fox that I've killed 20 of, something I've killed thousands of. Buffering. Should hunt early? You can jump in the truck and go. I'll stay here. Removing quick kill does mean some of the more middle ground weapons get to shine across the entire scale. Yeah, that's the definite like positive side to removing it. And it definitely helped with loadouts. It's tough. Like, you know, I could take the 243 red deer hunting, and I could get quick kill if I heart shot him. Like, that could be something I would have to do instead. But I get why, you know, not everybody wants to risk their diamonds to things like that. Feisty did? No, I was serious. Like, if you want to go hunting, like, feel free. The plan, by the way, we were/are gonna, like, literally as soon as the stream's over, jump in the truck, drive to my parents, and go somewhere close to the house. When is the classic vid coming out? Can't wait to see the massive animal. Plan is to do tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern. The only potential, like, thing that could change that would be if I want to do a video on the angler hint, but it is just an image, so I'll probably just talk about that for Wednesday's video. Bladed Nine's at your dad's? If he's still alive. We haven't had any evidence of him this entire year. Couple of pretty decent bucks. There's like a, I'd say like 125 to 130 inch 9-point. I'm not gonna lie though, there's two bigger than that at my place. And one of them I think has just shifted to his fall range, which I believe is using this property as kind of like a central area. I think a blowgun would be a pretty neat addition to the game. So I feel like to really do a blowgun properly, you'd almost need like, you know how like some golfing games have like a meter of like to display how powerful your swing is going to be? I feel like there almost needs to be like a meter or something like that to somehow put some challenge of like getting the correct amount of air behind it. You know what I mean? Like, I think if it were just point and shoot, it doesn't feel like shooting a blowgun. It's kind of like how the recurve and the longbow are. They're pretty easy to aim, whereas I would argue, at least in the Hunter Classic, the cable back bow and the longbow are difficult to aim. And it takes away a little bit of the like traditional bow authentic feel when it's just too easy to aim like that. I did know that, Alexander. I don't know if it still happens, but I'm too afraid to do it because back in the good old days, that also would cause crashing. Shot a deer from your parents' bed one year? I don't know if I want to ask how that happened. I've shot a lot of deer from my bed in my dreams. We had this conversation recently. Turns out a lot of us dream about killing our target bucks all the time. Say you were an average viewer of this channel who has been watching for a while, what would your favorite video to watch on this channel be? Oh god. So detaching like specifics to me, like for instance, say my 180 buck in real life, that's the one I go back and watch on this channel myself. But I feel like it's different. What's one that's like that I think is really well done? I mean, the great one, Whitetail, I guess. The only problem is it's a 30-minute video. I know not everybody loves that. I think that's the most likely thing that people do go back and watch, even if it's just that portion of the video. From what I hear, people do like to go back and watch that one, and it was kind of like, that was a moment in time for the Hunter Call of the Wild. Like, that was the third, I think, great one shot ever. No chance. Ever listen to Matt and Shane's secret podcast? Is that Shane Gillis? Yeah, I've seen that. Not like listen to it every time it comes out, but I've seen a lot of like clips and stuff. I was like, your first hunt on new map hunts? There are some pretty cool like memories attached to those ones. One of my favorite streams for that, when Parquet came out, and I think it was release day. I think this was before early access was a thing. Zaggy and I streamed Parquet for like 5 hours, and we found, I think this was my map, we found a legendary water buffalo. I got the track. It was 1230 kilo or something. They go up to 1250. Again, Zag Tactics days. And what we did to ensure that we could get it, it was like 300 yards. We had a heck of a time getting close to it. We both went for a spine shot at the same time and actually both hit the spine shot. I ended up claiming it and keeping it because I guess it was my map and I found the track. But that was kind of a cool moment just because I want to say it's like the only team effort kill I've ever had. First two have been does, so at this point my target buck is whatever buck is in range. When we went to Tennessee last year and then Kentucky this year, that was essentially the way that we looked at it. Unfortunately, I haven't had a buck in range in either out-of-state hunt I've done for public land. West Virginia, not so much. That worked out. But that's a freeing way to hunt. It really is. Like, I love hunting the way that I do and, you know, targeting specific bucks and passing a lot of younger bucks despite, you know, shooting the younger deer last year. But there's something really cool about, like, just, if a buck comes through here, I'm taking the shot. A legal buck. Intentional spine shots gave me the creeps. Gave me the creeps. At least they didn't, I mean, like, at least it killed them, right? The way that it works in Classic, if you spine shoot one, they actively make you feel bad by laying there and looking at you. Favorite area of any map scenery-wise? Ooh. Good question. The, like the mission area for the Ghost Jackal on Verhunga around sunrise or sunset's really nice. I generally like the, it's Aspen, right? The northern part of Yukon Valley, like all the gold colored leaves and the white trees. I think they're aspen trees. It's probably between those two, and I guess I'd go with Yukon because it's not time of day specific. Valmont Lake has home vibes. If it's down to, what would you call it? Comfort or whatever. Anywhere like Valmont Lake, like any of those starting areas. Any of the lakes in Chila for me. Pretty much from Runaki up through Willowpeg, like the areas that we hunted a lot back in the day. Never get tired of them. Starting location SRP is nice, that's true. I know this isn't called the Wild, but do they make the moose tougher on Way the Hunter? I'm not aware of any buffs to the moose. Got the new pack, but I can't use the better 44 bullets because my pistol level isn't high enough. What do? Like Mel said, take whatever handgun and ammunition you have and just go shoot as many crocs as you can on Emerald Coast. You will have that unlocked before you know it. Are we bringing the muzzleloader in both bows? Probably a muzzleloader in a bow. Not bad. They're tanking 300 shots? Really? Well, there was an update, right? Not terribly long ago. I'm trying to find the last thing that came out, and I don't see anything. What's up, Tuck? Do you like Way the Hunter? I really enjoy it. The only struggle with Way the Hunter I find is, like, this time of year is really hard for me to make a lot of content. Because in order to make Way the Hunter content that's not exactly the same every time, right? Today, we're managing our herds again. Like, if we want 5 stars and stuff to show up, I simply have to put as much time as I can in off camera to age things. And I'm hunting as much as I can. Like, almost any free time I have is spent in a tree for the next 2 months. So, or 2.5 months, really. Well, that's October 16th now, 2 months. So that makes it tough for me to, like, actually do very much Way the Hunter content beyond just let's go see what happens today. But even still, like, there's rarely a time where I don't want to just go on and go run around and have fun. What I think I might do, I'm not a huge fan of the exploits that can be done in Way the Hunter multiplayer. Basically, multiplayer spamming and stuff. But I might do some multiplayer like Tick-a-Moon and stuff. Just to have something a little different. Anything cool yet? I think somebody answered that. Diamond Red Deer with a new recurve. Indeed, at 12 meters. Go figure. Way the Hunter requires a lot of time. Yeah, that's for sure, like, if you want to have success, and I'm assuming success is like 5-star animals, you just have to put in the time. It's as simple as that. Sure wish someone would have got that Illinois permit I told them to get. Got a couple really good management bucks that need off the farm. So just out of curiosity. Management buck is what, 130? Depends on where you're at in Illinois. I'm only asking that because I'm assuming what I consider a definite shooter is probably a management buck there. How's the hunting going? I joined the stream late. Not too bad. We killed a diamond red deer with the recurve. 12.9 meters away. I think he was a 253. Now we're just kind of running around, shooting whatever we see, using the 44 as much as possible. That's where the Way the Hunter streams come in handy. We're not expecting rares like in videos. Yeah, I do need to stream it more. We were streaming it a lot, and actually, like, for the most part, having success in doing so. The thing that happens when you stream it is kind of what you're talking about. There is no, like, expectation of getting a 5-star or a rare, for instance, necessarily. So it's easier to just cover as much ground as possible and just shoot whatever. I know, like me, you can't wait till rifle season starts in PA. So you are both correct and incorrect, only in the sense that I really want to get a deer with my bow in PA this year. I didn't get one last year. Like, I got my buck in West Virginia, which was awesome. Like, worth 12 does in PA or whatever it might be. More than that, probably. But this is running on 2 years in a row. I haven't gotten anything with my bow, and I really want to change that. So, like, I thought of this before the stream. This whole year's been flying by, but I feel like typically in hunting season, at least like for me mentally, it slows down because it's long days. Especially days if I'm hunting in the morning, like let's say I'm up at, I don't know, 5 o'clock, go hunting, come home, edit a video, record a video, hunt in the evening, try to get to bed by, I don't know, 10, and then do it all again. But so far, and I haven't hunted too many mornings yet because I don't hunt early season mornings, so maybe that's it. But it's October 16th, like, archery is flying by. It's muzzleloader already. I don't like it. Time's flying. Since you're talking about the older system, imagine the 44 rifle in the old system. Oh my. Yeah, like, so many species. And remember the way integrity worked. Like, there was no upper bound on it. You could, and we did it, you could shoot, like, diamond lions with the Mosin. You could shoot, what did I use? Diamond water buffalo? What was the gun that I used? I think that was the Mosin. We would brain shot them. That was, and what you could do with the 44? It definitely would be, like, the meta weapon. I'm trying to think what actually drinks at 11 o'clock on here. When do Ibex drink? They start at 11? They start at 10, so they're drinking now. Let's go up here. One's a giant body 4 that won't score much, but he's got an extremely funky rack. Had him at 7 yards last night. That's insane. The other's a high 30s, low 40s, 8. Also huge. I think he's 5 or 6. I love a good, like, huge mainframe 8. I have one here. He'll score lower because he has 2 or 3 stickers off his bases, but I have one here that's around that size. But obviously not a management buck for us. He's kind of, I still think, an up and comer. I think he's only going to get bigger, but that does not mean I won't shoot him if I see him. The 270 at the beginning of the game was the best besides the 7mm. The 270 was like, yeah, that was a legit, take that elk or deer hunting. And only whitetail. It wasn't even ethical for blacktail, which, boy, did that confuse people back in the day. That took a lot of videos and explanations and streams for people to understand. That got along not bad. When do you think the game was in its peak? Peak, like, popularity? Probably... I mean, Te Awaroa, because that was, like, peak COVID. So, removing that from it. Silver Age peaks? Heh. No pun intended. I'd say that was when the game was at its, like, peak in terms of popularity and the best content that was coming out. Not to say that, you know, the great ones in the maps they've come out with recently weren't as good, but I think it's the combination of, you know, the game was still kind of, like, new and innovative and stuff, and I think to some degree it's kind of caught up with itself, if that makes sense. I don't know if that explains what I'm trying to say, but, you know, Emerald Coast is like other maps in Call of the Wild. For a while there, like, you had Layton and Hirsch were the starter maps. Then Medved was something completely new. Then Verhunga was something completely new. Parquet with Red Deer, Mule Deer on one map. That was like the huge hype thing about that particular map. What came out after Parquet? It would have been... Was it Rancho? No. Yukon. That was Alaska. That was huge. That was something completely new, right? Like, this just happened over and over and over again. Until 2020? I think Silver Ridge Peaks will be it for me. What's up, Billy? You are my favorite YouTuber. Well, I am honored to have that, that distinction. Thank you, man. Remember when you could shoot a goose with the 223? Dude, my first diamond goose I killed with 20 gauge buckshot. Like, did it make sense? No. I don't know why anybody would feasibly do that in real life. However, I kind of miss... This is dumb, but I kind of miss, like, weird little oddities and specificities, I don't know if I said that right, about, you know, things you could do in the game that were ethical that not many people knew, like 20 gauge buckshot for a goose. Again, does it make sense? No, but... SRP was my personal peak? So what you're saying is, like, Emerald Coast is hashtag not your peak? Missed how slow the geese were? Yeah, I was really, really excited for the waterfowl rework. I thought it was going to make waterfowl hunting more fun, and I guess, like, to a degree it did. But I don't know, I just expected it to be a little closer to how classic waterfowl work. Classic waterfowl are the perfect challenge of realistic and fun. Call of the Wild waterfowl, they are fun, but a lot of times you're killing 2 ducks, maybe 3 ducks per flock. It's just a little on the low side. Especially with the way respawns work, right? Would be one thing if you didn't have to kill literally every bird in the entire flock to get... Oop, no, not that leg. To get the respawns to work. In Classic, it's like, who cares? Start a new session in a couple hours, all those ducks will be new. When were Ibex not Class 4? What? Hashtag EC is my Grand Canyon. Oh dear. What's up, Taz? Well, it's going pretty good. Got ourselves a diamond red deer at the recurve earlier. It was so stupid. We were trying to call him in with the e-collar. And he was just like, I don't remember where it was. Here? Yeah. And we were in this tripod, and he was just running into the water here and wouldn't move. So we crawled all the way out around. We're getting pretty close to him, and then he finally broke free and started trotting right into the collar. Came into 12 meters. Did you ever play Bird Hunter Wild Wings Edition? I have not. New England's my Marianas Trench. I saw in the patch notes that they changed them back to Class 4. Hold on a minute. Patch notes. Ambusher pack? You know, I never bought the new cosmetics. I need to. Features, improvements, bug fixes. Southeastern Spanish Ibex has been returned to Class 4. Does anybody know what class they were? I wasn't aware of that. Oh, there was a bug I saw on EW's Discord where someone's Ibex was Class 6? That's hilarious. You know, It may have just been somebody, you know, misclicked something, but I feel like in all likelihood, it was probably another line of code that had nothing to do with it, that for some reason impacted that. Because that's just kind of what coding and development are, like random weird little things that you have to go back and fix like that. They were 6? That's insane. How odd. What do you think is the next map, and what map do you want next? Okay, so I want Greenland. I want muskox, Arctic wolves, Arctic fox, give me caribou that are redone. You could do snowshoes. Ptarmigan. I think it'd be a good map. What do I think is next? Like, when I look at this... hello? There we go. Greenland is a glaring flaw, I guess. I kind of wonder, would they do something like in Asia somewhere? Like, I could see that. Other than that, I mean, where else do you feasibly go? You could do Mongolia, I guess? At some point, the old, I can't say it, Texas exotic map, or ranch, has to come into play, and just, like, anything they've ever wanted to add but didn't. Put it on that map. Easy peasy. I'm sure they're very well aware of that potential. We need a snow map like Medved? So we were talking about that earlier for Way the Hunter and Call of the Wild. Like, Greenland or some sort of Arctic map would be awesome in both games. What's that little hop there for? Redo caribou and reindeer? They need it. I will admit, when they came out, I thought their true racks were awesome, but the longer that they've kind of existed and the more that we've seen them, I just feel like they're lacking a little bit, especially if you do look at, like, big caribou and Way the Hunter. They're just better. Frame makes more sense, the shovels are better, and I know true racks, like, you know, you need to have these elements of randomness, but they could do far more. They need to add muskox to Medved. There's just not, like, the right type of terrain for them, I feel. Do you enjoy Great One grinding? Yes and no. I enjoy the setup and stuff. Like, I like figuring out, okay, here's where all the zones are. Here's the best place to put a tripod and tents and all that stuff. And I kind of enjoy just shooting everything and hoping for the best. Where I've kind of gotten stuck with that is there's indisputable proof that herd management does work to get more Great Ones. And for, I don't know, years, we kind of were under the impression that, okay, it affects diamonds and stuff, but Great Ones are still completely RNG. It doesn't matter what anybody says. When I look at the results now, herd management definitely can help you get more Great Ones. So it's like, okay, maybe that's just the way to go, because EW has said, like, yeah, that it was basically intended. If I tried to do it, like, anytime, like, I've attempted it with bears. Like, alright, this is level 3 bear. I'm not going to shoot that. It takes me, like, 2 more minutes, I'm like, this is dumb. I'm done. I just don't like having to do math to shoot stuff. So, I like the old style of grinding, just killing everything. But then, Mel and I have had this conversation, like, 100 times. If we know that herd management works, I'm actively shooting myself in the foot by killing that level 3 bear, but I don't want to not kill that level 3 bear, so now I'm just here. What was your favorite hunting game when you were a kid? Mine was Alaskan Adventures. Yeah, I don't think I have a better answer than that. African Safari was very good, but I didn't own that game, by the way. Alaskan Adventures was awesome. African Safari, my best friend growing up owned. So anytime that he came over to my house or I went over to his house, the first however many hours, 2, 3, 4 hours, I don't remember how long it took to beat the game, was just us playing through that entire game, every time. Stream struggling? Looks like it came back. Come on, internet. I don't know why. Literally every winter. It happens every time. It's not even winter yet, but still. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. Because I owned Alaskan Adventures and I just played the heck out of it, definitely my favorite. Tips for filming your own hunts? Are we looking about... Are you guys still getting lag? Oh, okay. That's just delay. Yeah, it's probably like... the amount of frames we dropped is probably a huge delay, especially on YouTube. Anyway, I'm going to try to keep up. Are we talking about, like, gear and stuff, Montana Outdoors, or are we talking more about, like, specifics to being in the stand and, you know, manipulating said gear to get... Hey, hello. To get good footage. Alright. Potential diamond number 2. There's no Ibex call, I don't think. No. So this will be a 44 one. Chat lag for 30 seconds for me. Yeah, I just don't know why it happens. Like, it's legit. Around this time every year it starts getting cold and the internet's just like, nah, we're done. So I'll probably have to... I don't know, I'll mess around with something, see if I can fix it. Usually, as little sense as this makes, if I just tighten the little screw thing on the coax cable, it seems to kind of fix it a little bit. So I don't know, we'll see. My problem is staying motivated to film. I just get in too much of a hurry, then don't get my camera set up. I get you. That was definitely an issue for me early on. Let's see if we can get this Ibex. And then I'll try to explain that, because doing two things at once I'll probably miss. Alright, definitely didn't miss. Good deal. Gotta do what now, Tuck? Okay, so staying motivated to film. When I... Let me think what year this is. 2017 or 2018, because I officially started self-filming in 2019. And I think 2018. We had a piebald doe on our property, like a calico piebald doe. Like, legit, when you think of piebalds in the Hunter Call of the Wild, this was the type of piebald that I'm talking about. Not one that has a white spot on its ear that some people call piebald, which I probably would too. Anyway, so I wanted to get into self-filming. I had like a cheap, muddy camera arm and a little camcorder that we had already owned. And I was attempting to film with that, but I had the exact same issue. I would, you know, I'd hunt like 3 or 4 times, I'd get everything set up, I wouldn't kill anything. Okay, I'm leaving my camera at home, it's too heavy. What the heck? I think I can hear myself on Kyla's phone, by the way. There's another 5. With a better estimate. So how do I stay motivated to do that? Quite frankly, editing and uploading the videos. If you're posting those videos to YouTube or whatever, it makes it a lot easier to keep yourself accountable. Like what I did in my first several years of self-filming, and what I'm actually doing again this year, starting maybe this weekend, we'll see how editing goes, is post the videos in season. So like, you know, give me like 2 weeks of editing. After the first week of action happens, that video comes out. If you're posting the videos consistently, you kind of have to be accountable and bring the camera with you. That's what I would say most. Okay. Level 5 Grados Ibex number 1. Oh, it's a troll. 5.13. I haven't been trolled by one of these guys in a long time. Good shot on the 44 brown hybrid variation. The good news is we have a little mulligan right over there. What lake is this little tiny, like, vertical lake in the southwest? No worries, man. Heading to BC for a wedding in a couple days, and last minute packing is not fun? Never is. I always end up last minute packing for stuff because, like, usually I'm prepping content until the last second before we gotta leave. Remember you would brain shot the buffaloes of the 30-06 when it released? What variation is that? It's got like a white underside. That looks nice. Anyway. 150 again. Wait till his head's down. This one's a little bigger. I think he makes it. You know, there's a Diamond Grados in the thumbnail, so one of these guys has to make it as a requirement. Take your time. We're all waiting on you. Whenever you're ready. Should have shot him like that, to be honest. Okay, you know what? I don't want him to look to the side and end up hitting him in the skull, so he needs to do something. But whenever he moves in that aspect, we're taking the shot. Ugliest animal in Call of the Wild? My god, it might be Ibex. If we're talking about models that don't hold up, scrub hair, white-tailed jackrabbit, and European hares are pretty bad now compared to mountain hare, antelope jackrabbit, cottontails. But yeah, to me, it's probably the Ibex. Max weight, max score, I would take it. Dead. Oh, nice. Rifle season starts this weekend. Hoping to get some good videos out of it going for elk and deer. Rifle can be, and I'm sure it's very different for you, like, hunting in rifle here is a very different animal from what I can tell. Because you're probably covering a lot of ground and stuff, right? Do you have, like, a GoPro or anything? Or they sell, like, cheaper knockoff versions of GoPros you can get as well. But, I would definitely try to get some footage of just where you're walking to. When my brother did his DIY elk hunt in Colorado, like, editing that together, a lot of the cool stuff, in my opinion, is actually, like, the trek up the hill to wherever you're going, trek up the mountain to wherever you're going. We don't have mountains out here, we have hills. Is the 44 better than the 7mm? In some aspects, yes. One big drop-off to the 44 is the fact that it is not ethical for Class 9. Show the peeps what lake? I did. Everybody hates me. It's the Southwest little tiny skinny vertical lake. Wish the Ibex looked like the ones on Valdeblaw. We mentioned that a little bit earlier. Alpine Ibex in this game would be awesome. I wish we had those. I think making a great one grizzly and making it a Kodiak bear would be pretty neat. So to be honest, the grizzlies that we have are, to me, they're modeled after Kodiaks anyway. Like, because they get nearly 2,000 pounds. It's, be at least, like, what, 1,600? I feel like that's kind of almost what they did when they made them. What's this guy, up to 102? That guy made it. 104? Oh my goodness, you were right about the max weight. That's our biggest one. I don't think we've gotten one over, funny enough, 102. Well, we will take that. That's a really nice one. Big male. Hit him in the neck, lung, and I think liver? Yeah. Pretty good from the 44 punching through an entire Ibex. Got the vertebrae there too, just for good measure. Pretty cool. So that's going to have to go back to the lodge and into the multi-mount. What have we not gone for? We have not gone for the apparently new / fixed Southeastern Spanish Ibex being Class 4 again. RedneckJay, thank you for the 54 months. You are closing in on 5 years. That is many, many months. Welcome back. Good to see you once again. Is it just me, or do you want Dull Sheep on Yukon? I do, in fact, want Dull Sheep on Yukon. I think that would be a really good addition, so long as the horns are done correctly and not looking like the bighorns. What happened to that piebald doe you were just talking about? Best I can tell, it was shot on one of the neighboring properties. So, to give the full, like, story of this particular one, it showed up. My brother actually saw it bedded when he was turkey hunting. It was an early born fawn, like, sometime mid-May? I wouldn't say, like, stupidly early, but pretty early. And it's the doe was notably old and smart. What was interesting about this particular deer, the next year, so like when all of us saw it as a fawn. We all could have shot it when it was half a year old. None of us had any interest in doing that. The next year, it stayed with the mother doe. I think I want to say, is one of the weird scenarios where the doe had twins, like the piebald and a common one. They were both females. She didn't have fawns the next year, I don't think, and those two ran with her for an entire another year. And once again, we all had opportunities at her that year, but she wasn't, like, mature to say, so we let it go again. The following year, I was the only one that was, like, actually targeting it. My brother and my dad both were like, don't really want to pay $2,000 to get it mounted. And we were all in agreement that, like, if somebody's going to shoot this, we should get it full body mounted. It is too special to just shoot and get a shoulder mount or a hide mount or anything like that. And we all enjoyed, looking at it. It walked past both my brother and my dad in gun season. I never did get an opportunity at it, but there's one stand on a power line that would be kind of in between its sort of home ranges. My best guess is at some stage it crossed there when that guy was in that stand and got shot. Had 2 albino fawns and albino doe? Out of curiosity, are these all in the same little group? Because we've had an albino doe with 2 regular fawns. This wasn't actually at my dad's property. This was just near there. And then we had a common doe with 2 albino fawns, but never both. Stand guy? Yeah, that's who I think got it. That year? Maybe the year before. I found an 8-point buck, about the exact, really similar now that I think of it, to the one that I killed last year, almost exactly the same size. Long shot, hit perfectly, but down on my dad's property. So what I think happened was the guy shot it, it didn't drop on the power line, and he just didn't even go look for it. Because I promise you, based on where it died and where the shot was, it didn't run 100 yards. And then I later found a fawn that was gut shot in the same general area. And what I really think was going on was the guy was just sitting there, shooting at whatever he saw, and if he didn't drop it where he could get it easily, he just let it go die somewhere, which is awful. So hopefully, if he did shoot it, he at least recovered it. What's up, Nick? Danny's back. Welcome back. They were all in the same herd. That's cool. Want a jackwagon? You know, those guys that hunt that area they're PA hunters through and through, let me put it that way. I'm talking drives, if it's brown, it's down, and don't quit firing until it's down. The amount of shots that we hear on that property every year. Like, and the other thing too is trespassing, I'll get into that. Kyle and I hunted a couple of Saturdays down there last year, and I mean, just on that property alone, there had to be 50 or 60 shots fired. It was non-stop. But then also, Kyle and I aren't always good at getting into our stand or blind as early as we should. The first day our rifle, we got there a little bit later than we would have liked to. It was still dark, but you know, later dark. And then, what was it? I think it was the first Saturday. No, the second Saturday now. I always call it the first Saturday. PA's season changed, not important. Used to start on a Monday. We got in there earlier, and I think we beat this guy that hunts on the power line to his spot. He didn't see us come in. We usually get there late, so he didn't think we were there. Like 9 o'clock, he just comes strolling down on my dad's property. Now let me make something very clear. I know exactly who this guy is. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's trespassing. He thinks we're not there. He knows that he's trespassing, and he's going to go try to shoot a deer because he thinks no one's in this spot. So he gets about halfway down over the hill, and we're in the blind. He doesn't see us. I get out, and I'm going to go talk to him. I have never seen anybody run up that hill so fast. He was like getting out of there. So not only do they trespass, they don't even try to pretend like, oh, I didn't know where I was. Just ran away. What's your favorite fish? Like to fish for? Probably trout of any kind. I like bass fishing, but I've gotten into fly fishing big time the last couple years, and I just like trout fishing with flies better. Next time he does it, I'm gonna cut his tower down. So we attempted to buy that piece of land, because it's not his land, by the way. But unfortunately, that didn't work. The guy's selling a huge chunk of it, and we just can't afford that much. But we wanted to see if we could get a piece. Sounds like emotional damage. It was something like that. Should have just said, meh, like the TK one. You wouldn't believe how many shots go off on the road by my field, and I'll always find tire tracks and blood. At least ask if you want to hunt the land. Yeah, that is becoming unfortunately common. We had it here too, and I can't say this for certain, but my assessment is these two guys were gonna go and try to shoot the big buck that I ended up getting. I think they probably saw it from the road because where he was would have been visible from the road. This isn't the same night that I shot my deer, but I think they saw him down in there at some stage, and they were gonna walk right through my property to get to it. It's like you don't even tried to ask, and it just so happened Kyle and I were sitting there. And what do you know? They didn't have any interest in coming and talking to us. They just went the other way. Biggest trout you ever got? With fly tackle, not huge by any stretch. Probably like a 2-pounder. I don't know. 16 inches probably. Biggest trout ever of any kind was like a 20-incher. I caught that on spinning tackle. This was in a Sportsman's Club pond. I was pretty young. I don't know, maybe close to 3 pounds. It was a rainbow. But again, a stocked Sportsman's Club pond, specifically for like kids and teenagers, which is what I was at the time. Great shooting. Okay, I don't even know which one it was, but that's fine. I want to go look for Ronda's little bit. What are we going to do with the tent? Sounds like you need some big steel gates. So the problem is the access that people are, well, for our property, it's just through other property lines. The access to my dad's property, like where that guy was that I was talking about that ran away from me, it's just a power line, so you can't block it. Are you continuing the bear grind? I mean, never say never, but I was saying about it earlier. It's a tough spot because I don't want to herd manage. It just doesn't interest me. I even attempted it because I think it's reached a point where it's like, okay, everybody knows it works. It's accepted. Cool. I'm going to see if I can light manage or whatever you want to call it. And I did that for like a day and I just hated it. So there's that. But then the other side of it is we know it works. So why would I actively, why would I shoot a level 1 bear when I know it's going to hurt things? So I'm kind of just in this weird spot where I don't like either option. Maybe eventually I'll come to a conclusion. Favorite sport? Definitely NFL football. Have you ever catfish? I have caught catfish. I have never catfished anyone knowingly. Nick, thanks for becoming a Super Schuster. Welcome, welcome. According to what I'm seeing, and I believe because your badge is green, right? That's a renewal, right? It says that it was 6 months, which I think would be a red badge, though. Favorite NFL team? Steelers. Which, the way they've been playing for the last 3 years probably means I'm going to die at age 42 because they've just taken years off my life, slowly but surely. 1.8k seconds? What? Very pog indeed. Totally forgot I had to get a new debit card and never switch my info over. No worries. I wanted to make sure that I was, well, basically, in not telling you to join the Discord and link up your YouTube and all that good stuff, I was pretty sure that has already happened because, you know, you had the 6-month thing, but I wanted to make sure I wasn't missing it. Didn't realize they had... Oh, now I know what happened. Here's the Dolphins. Boy, you got a good year going by the looks of things. I really can't figure out, like, if I were to try to rank the best, say, 5 teams in the NFL, I think I could give you the teams. I think it'd be 49ers, Eagles, Chiefs, Dolphins. Would I put the Lions in there? I might. I think I would. But I have no idea what order I'd put them in. Have you or will you ever go deep sea fishing? I never have. It's not something that's on like my bucket list per se, but you know, if I ended up in a place where that's accessible and easy to, you know, go on such an excursion, I wouldn't say no. How odd. So there's no males here. Still have a tent here, so we'll try this spot. Thoughts on being the biggest Hunter Call of the Wild channel? In all honesty, my thoughts are that I got very lucky that I got started doing YouTube when I did. That's a big one. No, it's not. Look bigger than that. Essentially, like I started with YouTube and I was doing the Hunter Classic exclusively for a couple of years. But what I mostly mean is when I dropped out of college and decided to try YouTube full time, Like 2 weeks later, the game came out on console. So I got extremely lucky that it worked out that way, and I'm very thankful for that. Just on a mid-weight piebald row, there you go. The way the Eagles played recently, I feel like the next ones are going to be tough in the house. Okay, so are we saying the Eagles are playing at home for the next? Is that what you mean? Because the Eagles fans? That's how I'm reading that. 1 Dolphins, 2 Niners, 3 Eagles, 4 Chiefs, 5 Lions. I could get behind that. If the Dolphins hadn't gotten smoked by the Bills, I'd have an easier time with that. But considering the Niners and Eagles just lost, yeah, I can't argue with it. I don't even hate the Lions over the Chiefs right now, especially because they beat them. But I also get why you'd put the Chiefs at 4, because Patrick Mahomes is, in fact, Patrick Mahomes. How's the deep sea fishing in PA? Oh, it's great. So good. Killer Koi, coming at you live. I just saw that. Flinter's a big male. Kayla. Who's this Kayla? My poor father. My brother's wife's name is Kaylee. And my mom does it too, but especially my dad. Anytime he tries to address one of them, he'll inevitably get the name wrong in some way, shape, or form, whether it's Kayla, whether it's Kylie. It's just gonna happen. Smoked him. Will you ever do another start from scratch series in Call of the Wild? I want to do another beginner guide. The start from scratch side of it, like, it never, I'm not playing from 0 to 60 per se. I don't know. We'll see. I think there may come a time, especially if we end up with, say, we get to the point that we have every diamond in the game. Let me set a scenario where I think it could happen. This week, I get stupidly lucky. I kill a diamond widgeon, and I kill a diamond bobcat, right? We have all the diamonds in the game. And then, I've got no one particular diamond goal to worry about going forward up until the next map comes out. So at that point, I'd maybe be more likely to do it. Just depends. Chris, that is actually a specific thing that I really want to do. I've almost done it. My concern is how the save files would work. Because even if you bought a disc copy and didn't update it, it's still going to create a save file, and I wonder if that could cause a conflict because there's already a save file that exists. So, Austin, I was driving Kyla home from the airport yesterday when that happened. I didn't see the hit. I actually haven't even seen a replay of it. I know it was a neck injury, and I know he was moving his extremities and stuff. Was it a bad hit? Is the gray fur type for mountain lions rare, uncommon? Still think the 49ers are the best? Yeah, like, if you remove the, like, let's say that exact same performance happened 2 weeks ago, and then you give their week 4 and 5 appearances as the recency bias, I think you put the 49ers on top. I think that's fair. Found any Ibex yet? We have killed a Diamond Grados, actually a huge Diamond Grados, our biggest one ever, and a Troll Grados. Honestly, 22-250 better than 243. You know what we need to test to add the 243 today? I do. So somebody told me when you zero the 243 for 300 meters now, it actually hits dead on at 300, and I need to test that. I was supposed to do that in yesterday's video, and then we found a melanistic brown bear, and then we disconnected from 12 servers, and then we killed a huge dark brown raccoon dog, and I completely forgot I ever said that. So maybe, Danny, I saw a thing today. Some X post. It was something to the effect of, like, the Super Bowl we all deserve in terms of fun is Lions Dolphins. And I was like, you know what? True. If we were to get one illegal to hunt... Oh, I see. One illegal to hunt animal to be added to the game, which would you choose? Ooh. looks kind of decent. What is happening? No, I wanted it to keep doing that. Do you think its horns were just spinning, or do you think the entire animal was spinning? Yesterday's vid had me stressing. Dude, when we disconnected after the bear, I'm not gonna lie, I was not entirely pleased. Those of you that were here in the stream earlier heard me say I did hit a deer with my muzzleloader on Saturday. I'm talking like 2 inches too far forward. I was so close to being fine, but anyway. It was a bit of a rough day, and then I had to come home and record that video because here's how I planned my weekend. Kyla was visiting her family in Georgia, so I didn't even record Sunday's video on a Friday like I typically do. I was gonna sit back, I was gonna watch football, I was gonna wake up at like 7, have coffee, like get all the morning grogginess out of my voice, and then start recording around 9:30 when the London game kicked off. I was gonna watch football while I was recording and editing all day. Cool. And then I had that poor shot on the doe on Saturday night, which meant I wanted to go back and look for it Sunday morning, and I had to record Saturday night. So anyway, you know, bit of a rough stretch there. Not exactly feeling great about making a shot that I absolutely should have made and just whiffing it. So then I find that Melanisic bear, and it's like, okay, it's gonna be alright. And then I can't claim it. I'm like, okay, either this is gonna work out, I'm gonna get back, or this is the biggest gut punch the universe could throw at me right now. Oh, I never answered that question. I was gonna say snow leopards, by the way. I kind of think that'd be awesome. Ooh, I'm glad you just mentioned the 22-250 again. We're gonna go for 300 meter shot with the 243. Bengal tigers, that's a good one. We're kind of barking up the same tree there with like really cool looking stuff, which also could have amazing looking rares. How big is that? That was the one I wanted to get, but actually this one's got a better estimate. Okay. I'm gonna aim far enough behind the leg that if this does hit low, it would just miss. Was that low? I actually don't know. Alright, that didn't work, but I have an easy way to find out. Okay, how did I do that? Scared myself. Polar bears? Are they illegal to hunt? No, they can't be because Jim Shockey shot one. No, wrong way. What am I doing? I play this game sometimes. I know how to play. No, never mind. It looked high. I thought so too, but I'm wondering if it actually hit underneath him and just it looked like it was high. So that's why I'm excited about potentially this changing, Andrew. Like, the 243 is a little harder hitting than the 22-250, and therefore, if zeroing for 300 makes it accurate at 300, which I'm not actually sure based on what we just saw, that would probably make me stop carrying the 22-250 in all honesty. Okay, so, and sometimes the scope matters. So Hyperion scope. Oh, it is high. Why? What the heck? Why would that happen? That one wasn't high, weirdly enough. A little inconsistent there. I mean, that's not just me, right? Okay, that's how I aimed high. Definitely a smidge high. Let's try the Argus. Definitely can matter. No, I didn't see that, Fro. That sucks. How old would they be? Like, I feel like Jim's maybe 70. I don't like that weapon wheel thing. That's not even the scope I wanted. Alright. Let me clear that. 223 also isn't as bad, but the AR-223 feels like it has accuracy issues. I've kind of always felt that. Yeah, I know what you mean. Jim is 70? I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I bet he's 70. Jim Shockey. 65. Oh, the jitters are so bad. That looked a little better. Okay, I aimed a touch high, but not that high. It could be the scope being so jittery. Reminds me of like when the Mosin came out. That was high. It is a smidge high with both. I think the Argus is a little more consistent, but still high. Too much coffee? Maybe so. Maybe so. Alright, bringing the Hyperion for now. Mostly because it helps with the 44. Only got about 10 minutes here, then we're going to jump back to the lodge and redo our multi-mount with the Ibex. Hippo should be class 12, I agree. About them Browns, I think PJ Walker should be their starter the rest of the year. That boy's shaking because I'm scared. Big scared. Okay. There's Ibex here now, isn't there? If you could get any trophy animal in real life, what would it be? If I could, like... What was that game? There was a game where you could basically design... That's a big one. No, it's not. I've done that a couple times today. Anyway, there was a game where you could basically design your own hunt, and you could, like... Oh, it was... What the heck was that called? This is gonna bother me. Hunting Unlimited. Good lord. Hunting Unlimited 2 or 3. You could, like... You could kind of customize the size of the animal and stuff. You could place where it would be. You could place different objects, different other animals, this whole thing, right? So if I could, in real life, design my own hunt like that. I mean, caribou's kind of my dream hunt. But I think if I were able to, like... Because I feel like with caribou, my success likelihood is high enough that I wouldn't need to create my own hunt in a way like this. I think I'm going to go... with cow's deer. I think I'd be hunting the gray ghost in Mexico or New Mexico or wherever they are. I actually don't know where they are. Maybe it's New Mexico. Or Arizona. Anyway. Some, you know, say like bottom of the record books, bottom, Boone and Crockett, whatever size cow's deer. 80 inches, 90 inches, something like that. You think Cuatro Colinas is underrated? Yes and no. I think as a map and like as a whole it's underrated, but I think what holds it back is the Ibex aren't that special. They're kind of all the same model with different horns. The rabbits are pretty meh. Red deer are awesome, but there's just better red deer hunting on other maps. It's the best roe deer map. And I like the wolves. But as for the rest of it, it's sort of run-of-the-mill, unfortunately. You know what I'd like, though? I'd like an albino Ibex. I haven't had one of those in a very long time. We need new scopes? You got a very good point. It has been way too long. There hasn't even been, you know, like a compatible scope for most guns in the game since the release. Hyperion and Argus has just been it. Hey, thank you, Unknown. Wonder what great ones coming with the map? Probably depends on location. You know, if they want to go with that Greenland idea. Great One Caribou. I know it's not main game, but or base game, but I think that'd be okay. Cuatro is your favorite boar map. I've never hunted boar enough to know like what's a good boar map, to be honest. Why don't you use the Argus scope on your 1894? The simple reason is, basically, if you want to shoot 300 meters with this thing, because it only zeroes out to 150, it's dead on the first mill dot down is 300 meters. If you use the Argus scope, I don't know where 300 meters is. 400 is like the third mill dot down. And you have to aim a little bit low with it. So I just feel like it was designed with the Hyperion and his mill dots in mind. So that's pretty much why. Oh, where else should we go? I think we've been to basically every Ibex lake minus the river. We haven't gone here. Can we get there? I think we can probably get to about there, then we'll go back to the lodge. Best map for pheasants? Still Rancho. The problem with New England, Cuatro, and Hirschfelden, they all have pheasants. The pheasants on those maps, when you spook them, they'll tend to just flush. Sometimes they run around for a bit and flush. But on Rancho, the way that I think it works is that there's actual, like, specific types of vegetation that are coded to be cover for pheasants. So they'll run to that cover and hide. And then you gotta flush them from there. And if you're trying to, you know, ethically shoot them out of the air or whatever with a shotgun and get the medal, by far the best way to do it is for them to run to cover and then you can flush them from 5 meters away instead of 100. Head practice, what I miss? We killed ourselves a diamond red deer with a recurve, a troll Grados Ibex, and then a monster diamond Grados Ibex. Those two were at the same lake. 29 is... Oh, I thought you were saying 29 is the score of the mission bear, because it used to be. Or at least that was the max... No, is that still the max brown bear score? It might be like Lynx and it's 28 point something now. I doubt we'll get India in Call of the Wild, just play Far Cry 4. The hunting culture or whatever there probably would mean that it's not going to happen. Got a level 2 diamond pheasant on Hirsch, really? I've always known that that was possible, but I've never been able to get one. I shoot every max estimate pheasant I see. I've been really close. Never had one make it. Hate that I just want to nap. Can nap on the drive. There. On the Argoscope, you have to use a half mil dot for every 50 meters past 150. Are you sure? Oh, wait. I see what you're saying. Yeah, that makes sense. I got you. I've read that as the opposite. Should I get a gaming setup? But I just don't want to spend 2K. Yeah, I feel you. It definitely is not on the cheap end. Honestly, depends. Like, if you have a setup that's functional, and you have other things you want to spend or save your money for, you know, I keep rolling with what you got. If it's something you really enjoy and you don't have a setup that's functional, then I think it's worth it. Gotta go, might come back for the end. Sounds good. It was my only diamond pheasant. It was a gray. Nice. I do like the gray ones. They look good. What computer do you have? Someone just did the command a little bit ago. The Amazon link to it. It's an Amazon pre-built, which I know. Some people in the chat have probably just had a heart attack and died from hearing that. But the main reason I did that was my old computer was starting to die, and it was like exactly when Reventually was about to come out. So I had to get a computer as quickly as I could. You love our PCs? Minus whatever the heck happened with mine, and this was kind of my own fault. When Madden 24 came out, they have some sort of cheating detection thing, and it has to have safe boot, safe something enabled in your BIOS, and it wasn't. So I had to go change that in my BIOS, and it completely screwed things up, and I had to get a little cheap CPU with onboard graphics to fix it. Anyway, minus that, these PCs have been basically flawless. You're an Amazon pre-built? Thank you. Madden killed your PC. It was a warning to you about the Steelers. Hey, at least they're above 500 right now. Why not get a PC sponsorship? Should be that easy. I mean, you never know, Sled. Maybe I should reach out. Hit up whatever company sponsors Moist Critical. Is it a sponsorship? He might own that company. Or they have like a cooperative partnership. Was gonna get a nice new 4090 spec monster for Christmas. I mean, I wouldn't complain if that happened. Moist is awesome. He's like the only channel I'll ever watch for any like internet drama related things. I have zero interest in any of it, but for whatever reason, the way he covers it is just perfection. Couple of okay ones over there. I'm just asking because I have had like 5 PlayStations in the past year because they all break. I spent hours on Call of Duty and it's all gone when I have to transfer. Yeah, I get you. Are you like oh, you're saying it's gone when you have to switch between PS5s? Or that account should stay the same, right? It's an interesting looking fella. Starforge PCs? Okay. You stream on YouTube now. I'm aware of it. Like, I saw his video where he was talking about it. I've actually never watched one of his streams. Only the videos. Never thought I'd hear me talk about Moist Critical. I have a couple of times. Random little references. You hunt in PA too? That's awesome, man. What's up, Chess? I wish we could get lion and elk remodels. Lions could, at least their mains could use it, probably the whole thing. Elk, though, I don't know, Rockies are just weird. I can't put my finger on it, but something with Rocky Mountain elk models is just off. And then Rosie's, they kind of have that red deer face. It's just not right. It's sort of that same thing, like, if you were to ask me, like, what do I gotta do to fix it? I don't know if I could tell you, but I could be like, look at it. Doesn't look like an elk. Look at the elk and the red deer and Way the Hunter, make them look like that. I hunt next to the PA line. Okay, I got you. Elk in general need it? Indeed. Yeah, I think you're right, ZBG. Rockies look bulimic. I'm not gonna lie, I'm too stupid to know what that means. Now, would you just look at it? Wish list for classic Halloween hunt. Look at that glorious guy. I want them to make the same event as last year, but the Abraxas, those being the Axis Deer, the Izuna Red Fox, and the Ghostaroos attack. So our old Grados was a 102. I gotta figure this out. What's the most recent kill here? That doesn't seem right. Okay, so potentially we're going back to April 19th, 2021. See if we can find it. Hello. There we go. Alright. All the way back here. Do we have... Yeah, that's what I thought. So at some stage, I redid that multi-mount after that. And it's called Grand Slam. I'm basically looking for these numbers. Got it. Alright, dismantle that. We're going to redo it. Okay, so Pathetes, we're looking for our biggest gray variant, which is gonna be... Is that the one? Gray brown, maybe. That's a 200, let's do that. Then Grados, we want our one from today. Southeastern Spanish. That would be the one from April 2021. And then Ronda, I assume we just want our biggest. I like how we have 2 in back-to-back days there. Alright, let's hope we didn't screw that up. Okay, kinda did because before we had a Gray Pathetes in there, but that is our biggest one, so. Actually, that's not bad. That's that gray-brown variant I was talking about that had like the white underside. I didn't even know we had a diamond one of them. We may have had this trophy lodge going for, what, coming up on 4 years now? I think April 2020 is when, not April, what? February 2020 is when the new scoring system started, but still making improvements to this day. Anyway, we are going to wrap this stream up. Kyle and I are going to jump in the truck, drive a half hour to my parents' property, and see if we can smoke a deer tonight. Potentially quite literally using the smoke pool. But yeah, can't complain. Went to Cuatro Colinas to have a little fun with the 44. Killed a monster diamond Grados and a diamond red deer in the process. So I think on that note, that's going to do it for this stream. As always, thank you guys for watching it. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for all the support. And I'll see you in tomorrow's video, what should be a very special Hunter Classic video with a personal best going back over 10 years. Bye!